KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Fear, anxiety, shame, and a horde of crocheted monsters. That's all part of a new exhibit at the Denver Art Museum that asks visitors to confront some uncomfortable emotions. Denver artist Sadie Young has created cuddly and soft monsters with bright colors and big eyes, and they're all crocheted out of yarn. The exhibit is called The Tangled Self, and it opened recently. Sadie joined me to talk about her creations, the inspiration behind them, and how she got started with crocheting. Sadie, these crocheted monsters are sometimes taller than a person. I know that you have been crocheting for a lot of your life. Can you tell me about how you learned to crochet?
Yeah, so my grandma, Sadie Young, she taught me how to crochet when I was about 4 or 5. She taught me how to do like a crochet chain.
Okay.
And when she taught me that, I was pretty convinced that I was going to like break world records with the longest crochet chain in the whole world. And so she loves telling this story. So I would just crochet these chains up and down her 4-story split house. And
they were all over.
Yeah.
Now, you also started out as a psychology major in college. And much of your inspiration for this show comes from the famous psychologist Carl Jung. Specifically, it's about what Jung called the shadow self. Talk to me about how this installation at the Denver Art Museum incorporates ideas about the shadow self.
So the shadow self is kind of the host for those things like anger, fear, grief, stress, anxiety. And for this installation, all of the biggest elements, all the most powering elements are these big crochet monsters. So I was trying to personify the shadow self by using the idea of inner monsters in a fun, silly, more approachable way.
Some of the monsters in this show at the dam are very large. I have to know, like, how much yarn did you use for all of this?
I would say I used 500 plus skeins of yarn throughout the entire exhibit. And for those who don't know, like a skein of yarn, that's how you buy yarn. So it's like the ball of yarn.
Okay, sure.
So the smallest skeins were 380 yards each, and the largest skeins were 1,093 yards each. And I went through hundreds and hundreds of those to create this.
I mean, without doing exact math, that's thousands and thousands of yards of yarn.
Yes.
Wow. Now, one of the monsters is kind of like a tent. There's a mouth that you can actually walk into. And there are words crocheted in cursive letters inside, words like anxiety and defeat. How do you want people to reflect on these negative emotions when they look at that particular monster?
So the first thing that you see when you come into the exhibit is this giant monster that has all those words in it. And that's meant to represent the fact that those things just come naturally. You don't have to work to feel those feelings. They happen to us, or they're easier to identify. Mm-hmm. And then as you move around this space, you have to work to find the positive. The intention of that is to show everybody that we all, just as humans, all of these things are a part of us. All of these things are tangled up pieces of us. And so if you are going through those big, overwhelming feelings of anxiety, feeling defeated, feeling insecure, those things, that you're not alone in it. It's something that every human has to deal with.
What made you want to focus on difficult, complex feelings with this crochet exhibit?
Well, for one, I was going through them. I go through them all the time. And in the collective unconscious, like as humans, we just are all dealing with it. And I feel like everyone in the world is feeling a lot more anxiety lately. Times are a little tumultuous at the moment.
Yeah, fair.
So, I wanted to address them, but also make them silly and fun and approachable, and hopefully translate that kind of experience to everyone. Like, oh, if I just think of my anxiety looking like that, and I accept that it's a part of me, then maybe it won't be so bad the next time I have to deal with it.
Yeah. Well, and the monsters you created are very colorful and they're cute in a way that maybe I wouldn't associate with difficult emotions like shame or anxiety. Was that a conscious choice? What made you use such bright colors and friendly looking monsters to address this?
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a conscious choice. I wanted them to be approachable and silly, and maybe it looks like it's for a child, but then when you dive into it, people can realize that this exhibition is not for any certain age. It's for everybody. And just going back to Jungian psychology, in order to become whole, you have to face these like negative things or these parts of the shadow self head on in order to overcome them. Because when we push them aside or we ignore these things, that's when the real harm is done to yourself and to the people in your life and to society as a whole. So if we can face these things, then the world is better for it, not just ourselves. So I really wanted to make it look easier to face.
You named some of the monsters after things that happened in your life while you were making them. Can you tell me a story about something you were going through while making one of these monsters?
Well, I have one. Her name is Insomnia. And she, at the time that I was making her, I was dealing with really bad insomnia, which comes in spurts for me, depending on what's happening in my life, of course.
Sure.
And at that time, it was like almost 2 weeks of just really bad insomnia. You know, all those kind of emotions were coming in. So I made Insomnia. Yeah. And she's bigger than stress because I was thinking like stress feeds into her.
Yeah.
But I made her really silly. Like I made her have a big fun booty and pigtails that you can play with and design her hair.
I think a lot of us suffer from insomnia. I would like to think about falling asleep holding a crocheted insomnia monster.
Yeah.
Sadie, as you have watched people traveling through your installation, what do you think they're taking away from it?
The biggest exposure I got to that was on the 20th. And so many people were telling me that it was really moving for them, mostly adults. That was really nice.
Yeah.
That they left feeling like uplifted, which is lovely to hear. I had a couple of people tell me that they left inspired to go create or use more colors in their art, which I also love. I always hope that it inspires people to want to create. And then I had a lot of good reactions from ones who had littles there too, just saying the little kids absolutely loved it, but also it moved me.
Sadie Young's exhibit, The Tangled Self, is a series of crocheted monsters and interactive wall pieces on display now at the Denver Art Museum. She also founded Spectra Art Space in Denver, which specializes in immersive installations. We'll include links to learn more in our show notes and at KUNC.org. That's it today for In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.